One of the most simple things on guitar is also one of the most overlooked, and that's knowing your notes. I have students who come to me who can already play pretty well, but they haven't taken the time to learn where some basic notes are, and that slows down their progress in a massive way. I'm not saying that you need to know where every note on the guitar is right away, but if you can at least learn the natural notes on the 5th and 6th strings, you'll know where to put most any scales, arpeggios, and bar chords that you play. Don't just memorize that a bar chord shape is supposed to be on the 3rd fret for whatever song you're learning. Make sure that you know that if you're putting a major bar chord shape on that 3rd fret, that 3rd fret is G, and that is what makes it G major. This is what makes reading chord charts possible without thinking. No more counting up to the right note or memorizing fret numbers, you're just playing music. By the way, if you're just getting started with guitar or soloing on guitar, make sure to download my free beginner soloist handbook that I've put together. It's packed with all sorts of scales and arpeggios and reference materials so that you have it all in one place. The link is in the description below, and it includes what we're covering today. Let's begin with the notes on the 6th string. So the open 6th string is the E, and you'll know that from tuning your guitar. Then F is always going to be next to E. They're always separated by a half step. So F is 1st fret, then we have G on the 3rd fret, then we have A on the 5th fret, B on the 7th, C is always right next to B on the guitar. It's separated by a half step, so that's going to be the 8th fret. D is the 10th fret, and then E is on the 12th fret. You should always get back to the note that you began on when you get to your double dots on your guitar, because that's the octave. Once again, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. So for example, if I want to play a G major scale, I put the root of that major scale on the G, on the 3rd fret here, and I can play my major scale. And it's in G major. Now if I want to play an A major scale, I put the same scale shape on the A on the 5th fret, and there I'm in A major now, which by the way has 3 sharps, but I don't have to think about that because I'm just playing a pattern and putting it on the right root note. If I want to play a G major bar chord, then I put a major bar chord shape on the G, and it becomes a G major. If I want to do the same thing on the A, I move it up to the 5th fret, A major, B major on the 7th, C major on the 8th. So knowing those notes right away, you learn a couple of bar chord shapes, a couple of scale shapes, and you're playing all kinds of keys and variations and voicings right away. But I'm not having to count up to any notes because I just flat out memorize these notes. I don't want to have to go E, F, G, A, B. There's B. I just simply memorize that B is on the 7th, and it's always going to be on the 7th right there on the 6th string, and so I can apply any sort of bar chord shape, B major, B7, B minor, B9, whatever the chord I want to put on there, it's a B something. I've eliminated a huge part of the struggle, and I'll never have to worry about it again. Once you get these notes memorized, it's like riding a bike. You've got them, and they are so useful for so much of what you do on the guitar. Let's look at the 5th string. The 5th string begins on the open A, then we move up to the B, which is on the 2nd fret. C is always right next to B, so that's going to be 3rd fret. Then we go to D on the 5th, E on the 7th, F on the 8th, G on the 10th, and back to A. One more time. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. As you can see, once I get these natural notes memorized, it's easy to apply any bar chord I want to them and also put any scale shape or arpeggio on them. And I said that we want to cover the natural notes. Your sharps and flats are in between. For example, E, F, G right here. In between that note right there is F sharp or G flat, depending on which key we're in. Get rid of the struggle that slows down so many guitarists out there. If you know your notes on the 5th and 6th strings, that is going to be useful for more than 95% of what you end up playing. Now, I'm not saying that you don't need to know your notes anywhere else on the guitar, but I am saying that you'll be surprised how much you'll be able to play by just knowing a few bar chord shapes and a scale or two, and then applying them to the notes that you know now on the 5th and 6th strings. You can then read chord charts and play in key with real confidence. This is a nemesis for guitar players, so my admonition for those of you who haven't done it yet is to make it happen today. Get these few notes memorized and you'll be well on your way to learning the music you want to play. If you're just getting started with guitar and want to know what scale shape I'd recommend for those wanting to learn to solo, I just made a video about it and you can watch it next right here.